What's up there, homies? Figured I'd teach y'all how to make a little bit of pine pitch. So, ingredients are simple. All you're gonna need is some pine sap, the grease from a grizzly bear, the piss of an elk, and a little bit of rabbit poop. But no, I'm gonna make it a lot simpler for you guys. I was just teasing. I'm gonna use some things that everybody can get their hands on. You do need some pine sap. That's this awesome looking stuff right here that me and the kids collected in Eco Avengers today. You're gonna need, what I recommend, I've done this a lot, it's 3 cans. You know, I've got 2 kind of soup can, vegetable cans from like making chili. And then I've also got a pop can that I cut that has some holes in it. You're gonna want something with some holes in it so you can use it as like a strainer. If you use your wife's little turtle catcher strainer thing like for Italian noodles, she's gonna get mad, okay? Trust me, you'll ruin it. There ain't no cleaning it, right? So make something like this. It's a lot more handy. I've got some sticks that I'm gonna need, like a little scraper for my pine, because you don't want to get that on your hands too much. It's pretty nasty. I'm letting this fire cook down a little bit, but what you guys are gonna also need, pine sap, charcoal. Now I just grab a couple coals out of the fire, or I use some char wood that I make myself. I've taken that out of the tin that I made because I want to use palmetto fibers. Now, if you wanted to and you were watching this in Kansas, like, you could go to the darn grocery store and buy yourself a coconut and use the coconut husk or any plant that's very fibrous like that. And I'm putting it all in here because I want to carbonize this, meaning like I want it to turn it black. I want it to be like charcoal, right? So I'm going to put a lid on it. Now notice carefully, there is a hole in that lid, okay? Now the reason why, I'm going to stick this bad boy on the fire, and you're going to start seeing some white smoke bellowing out of that hole. When the smoke stops, that tells me it's ready, and I take it off the fire. I don't open it yet. I wait until it's cool to the touch. The reason why is if you open it and look inside, you'll allow so much oxygen inside at one time that it'll basically go from a charcoal to a live coal and disintegrate into a bunch of just nothing but ash, and you don't want ash, right? I've made that mistake the hard way. Set this over here so when I grab these handles, the handles that I made for this strainer, like this is just some Scotch eyes, like little screws that I use for bushcraft to get holes in things. I'm kind of killing a little bit of time because I don't need it that hot. We got a hot little thing. This is a nice little bush stove made by Uberlabine, one of my sponsors. I love this little guy. I've actually got my campfire right there. Well, if I can figure out how to move it, boom, right there. But I'm using this simply because it's right here, work level. I can get all my things done. So we've got our fiber issue, you know, our whether that's palmetto fibers, coconut husk, whatever. You can use some rabbit poop, you know, whatever you want. And then you're gonna need the char that I mentioned, the sap that I mentioned, and this you can add if you want. This would be, I'm using beeswax because it's a little bit more available. When I do this, I'm not lying, I really do use bear grease, you know, like, but not grizzly bear, they're endangered. So I'm gonna put that right there and let it get to cooking. Now, while I'm waiting on this, I could go ahead and start powderizing my my char here. So I just carved down the end of a stick right there. So I can just sit there and turn this into powder. And keep looking over. I'm starting to see a little bit of white smoke popping up at the top of that hole, which is good. That means it's working. Now this is more than likely going to be a several series video, because I still, even though I bought a laptop, I don't know how to edit the darn videos to where I can splice them all together, you know, and take something that takes me, let's say, an hour and make it just one little video. See the white smoke coming out, guys? It's coming out of that hole. Now, I'm not going to want to take it off of there until that white smoke is gone, meaning there's no more white smoke bellowing out of that hole right there. It's a good little camera angle because you guys can see a little bit more, huh? I guess you can't see the top of my head, but that's okay. Beggars can't be choosers, right? Next time I'll set down a little sheet of metal. I didn't realize that little bad boy gets so hot underneath there it'll start burning the wood, which is just a stump that I work on, no big deal. These are all pieces of a pine that I can move around. I'm still seeing that white smoke, so I'm going to just go back to powderizing this. Uh-oh. Dropped a little bit there. Now, with me adding the palmetto that I'm working on right now, the palmetto fibers, that hairy looking stuff that I call monkey hair, with me adding that charred, that's gonna make this pitch almost more like it was, ooh, a butterfly. It's gonna make it almost more like it's caveman fiberglass. Like I could line the inside of a bus with that stuff and make that bus float on water. And waterproof things with it. Obviously you don't want to lather your tent up and stuff, but so I'm just sitting here smashing this down and making it as powderized as I can. Try not to forget about my darn fire there. Tell you the truth, I don't see any smoke coming out, but I don't know if it's finished or if I let the fire die down a little bit too much to where it stopped carbonizing. So I'm actually going to go ahead and sit here and stoke up that fire a little bit more and see if I can't make it smoke anymore before I check it. I think it might have been done. Still going to need the fire to melt our pitch though. So we can go ahead and start getting that pitch or the sap in here. This is all the pine sap. I'm putting it in this can so I can cook it up. Make sure y'all paying attention when it comes time, because there's some important tricks to this. For example, if you let this stuff boil, it's not going to be any good. Because if you allow it to boil, it will become brittle. If you don't get it hot enough, it will be too sticky and it won't do the job right. So it's kind of some tricks to that. So it looks like I don't have any more of that white smoke coming out of there, if you notice. So I'm just gonna break a couple sticks so I can pick it up. Whoop. Thought I was about to do that. Just rest it down there by my foot. All right. Don't want our fire to go completely out while we're working on this. So this was some sap that me and the kids collected today, but I have some more in a pouch over here that I collected yesterday. And the reason why I'm making this is to finish a sheath that I've been working on and a knife, and I want to do it completely traditional. Meaning I don't want to use super glue when I know how to make my own super glue. These are the two pieces that had all that on there. I'm going to save those because that'll be great for starting a fire like tonight. Good fire starter. Make sure I've got my stove going. I'll light a little bit of this on where you can see it's like a torch. Well, it's melting clean off of there. There's some of that sap still on that stick yet. So before I put it on the fire, go ahead and grab my medicine bag here. I keep little reused Ziploc bags because I don't want this stuff to get too hot and then mess things up. So here, it's more of its drier form. See how it looks like glass? Like little rocks. I'm gonna drop these in here too. This is a lengthy process to make this stuff, so when I do it, I like to use a lot, so then next time I make it, it's gonna be for a while. And I'll show you guys how I preserve that on sticks. They're called pitch sticks. Alright, Ziploc bag over here. Doop. So, here's my pine sap. Whoa, that one got hot and stuck to my finger. Dang. The metal alone on that is hot. I've never sat this close to it. Like, I can feel it from here. I went to let go and all the pine sap on me, the darn can stuck. So see this already. I can tell you, I want to have this ready to pick up because I don't want it to boil. That's why I'm a little bit nervous about using this versus a regular fire, is it works so well. I've got barely any coals going left in there and it's going hardcore. In fact, I'm gonna just set it next to it, you know, and have that be a little bit cooler. And see how I have a kind of a small fire as far as coals up in there. Might just move that around. Set it right there. And it's doing a pretty good job. mixed in a little bit. See, now I'm keeping an eye on that to make sure I don't get it boiling hot. I'm wanting to melt it. I don't want it to boil. Boiling is going to make it to where it's as brittle as glass, you know? I want this stuff to be like crazy glue. So I don't lose my darn fire here. It's melting pretty good. Just be careful not to make it boil. I can see we're at 17 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this one and go ahead and start clicking another video.